Jim and the Plug. Wealth is a mindset. Stay progressive. Never ever stop excelling. Now, before I start my day, I said to myself, I'm gonna make a quick vlog. I'm gonna make a quick vlog, quick daily vlog for you guys. Talk to you guys about something for a little bit. And what we're gonna talk about today is writing your ideas down. I got this brain blast in the shower, and I told myself, you have to essentially look at your life, right? You have to look at your life, and we are currently having porridge, as you can see. But what I was telling, and we are currently looking at the charts, as you can see. Let me flip my camera around. Let me just show you the charts here. Looking at Bitcoin. Bitcoin currently has the potential to go down to 88,100. The potential. I didn't say it's going all the way down there. Alright? But what you have to realize, the ideas that I'm having now is you have to essentially look at your life, and the older you get, you have to look at your life, right? And you have to say to yourself, if I can see what I'm currently doing or what I'm currently interested in as like a spiritual web, right? If I could see what I'm doing as a web, right? Like, let me use this, right? Let me use myself, for example. I'm an analyst, right? So because I'm an analyst, I have to see a web of pathways that I could take that will lead me to my most optimal route. What else do I love doing? I love driving, which means hypothetically, if I really wanted to or had the interest to, I could go and get my AZ license, right? And I could work in a field where the income potential is very, very high, right? So all I'm saying here is you have to essentially look at your ideas and look at what interests you and what you're drawn to the most, and say, hypothetically, I'm going to take this path because this path will give me the least amount of resistance to help me to get towards my goals, right? Like for me, it's either going to be driving or it's either going to be analysis work, right? It's going to be driving or it's going to be these charts, right? Or both simultaneously. You see I have a bunch of laptops over there, right? You see I have 3 other laptops over there, right? My most optimal path is to be an analyst, right? What I'm currently doing right now is I'm buying a ton of courses on these 2 websites, right? I don't know if they have affiliate links. I should probably add affiliate links if they do. We'll go over those after. I said to myself, I'm gonna make myself more comfortable in this video. We're gonna drink the porridge at the same time. You see what I'm saying? What I'm thinking about here is, I'm thinking to myself because I'm not just thinking about myself and I'm not just thinking for myself, but in terms of everybody around me. It's like I see what actually ends up happening when you're an adult, right? This is what happens, and I want you to observe this in your own life. I want you to observe this in the people around you. I want you to observe this in your work environment, and saying your family environment, any type of environment that you're in, because your environment is going to heavily influence your interest. Your environment is going to heavily influence, I don't want to say your results, because I've been in a very, very bad environment and got exponential results. So I already proved that to be false. So if anybody's telling you you're a product of your environment, they lied. You're not a product of your environment, especially for all you guys out there, all you youngins out there coming up that think that you have to be some kind of hard character because you come from a specific environment. You are not a product of your environment, right? I'm a living proof of that. You're not a product of your environment. You don't have to follow peer pressure. You don't have to follow what your friends are doing if they're not doing anything that is ethical or that you would deem to be right. And I mean, everybody has their own internal navigation system, right? So if you don't work on your own internal navigation system, this is why I meditate a lot. And I think me meditating a lot played a big role in me growing up, because I didn't grow up in the best of areas, right? But yet, when I met people from all over the place, when I met people from different areas, when I met people from different parts of the world, they would never ever know that I came from essentially like the slums, essentially like the way that I speak, the way that I carry myself, the way that I even write music. I never ever let it influence me as a whole, because I realized that I was never a product of my environment. I was never ever the product, first and foremost, right? I was the creator of the product. And see, that having that shift inside of your mind is going to change your entire life. You're not the product. Don't let these people out here fool you that you are the product. You were never the product. All you artists out there that make music, obviously the labels will probably look at you as the product. But see, the game changes and the way you create music changes when you realize that you are not the product. You were never the product, right? Your life changes, your income changes, your job changes when you realize that you're not the product. You were never the product. You were put here to be the creator, right? And if you don't have the slightest of a bit of thinking capacity in yourself to realize that you're above the product, then maybe you should just be the product, right? Maybe you should just be the product until something inside of you says, you know what, like I'm tired of this shit. Like there's something in me telling me that I'm more than just this role, right? Now, why am I saying all this? Because I was thinking to myself as I was taking a shower, getting ready, and I was thinking to myself, I have friends right now in fields that can potentially make them $1 million in the next 4 years. And this is going back to what I said now. Pay attention to your environment, right? Pay attention to the people that are around you, right? And so what I'm saying is I have friends that are in these fields that can make them $1 million in 4 years. I did the calculation already because I'm basically in the same field, but on a different end of the spectrum. If you can catch my drift of what I'm saying, right? And it always blows my mind that every time I give them advice and I tell them, you know what, I think you should work on furthering your skills in what you're currently doing, because companies are gonna pay big freaking money for you to do what you're already doing, but for you to just put on a different hat, right? You will make big freaking money if you do what you're supposed to do properly and if you work on furthering your skills. Now, why am I saying that? Because what actually ends up happening to you as an adult, and there's a quote about this. The quote says most people die at 25. 25 is a young age, bro. 25 is the typical age when you finish college or university, being that you go through your whole program and you don't drop out and things don't happen and you end up going into the work field and forgetting about your certificate or your degree or diploma, whatever. There's all these kind of things that are happening to people out here, right? I've been through my fair share. But what I'm saying is most people die at 25 and they're not buried until they're 70, because the average life expectancy is 70 to 80. So as you move up this ladder of age, and as you get closer to what the life expectancy is in your country, right? Even for all you older people out there, right? Because age is just a number. You think because you got age on me or because you got age on any of these people out here that makes a difference, bro. I know people that are not even 30 yet with over $30 million in their bank account. Age is just a freaking number, right? I told this to somebody the other day. I said a lot of people are still in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and they're still in the mindset of a 16-year-old. Why? Because it goes back to this quote right here. Most people die at 25, but they're not buried until they're 70. What does that mean, bro? What does that look like? Think about that for a second. I heard that quote first when I was maybe 22 years old, and I never understood it. I looked at it and I said, what? Hey man, 25 is gonna come out and be alright. 26 is gonna come out and be alright. And then it started to click. As I started to take the ambitious side of myself more serious, as I started to take the entrepreneurial version of myself more serious, it started clicking inside of my head. The quote basically means as you get older, and I'm going to put a little bit of science behind this, a little bit of spirituality and a little bit of science behind this to help you to understand this. It basically means that the older you get, the less you want to take more risk. The older you get, the more and more your brain is going to push you towards comfort. That just so happens to be at 25, right? When you finish college or university, when you finish school, you stop learning. And if you stop learning, what happens to you? You stop growing. Now, the problem is a lot of people stop learning from 17, 18, 19, or probably even younger, 16, because we're placed in a system that isn't really teaching us what we need to know to unlock our gifts or to help us to resonate with the abilities, the innate given abilities that God has put inside of us for us to unlock that highest version of ourselves. So what do most people end up doing? They end up frigging off, right? Because if you're teaching a doctor about, how do I say it? Like if you're teaching a doctor about car mechanics, you're gonna bore him to death. That's not his field. That's not his interest. Vice versa. And I'm just using that as an example. I'm not saying that that's the case for all you doctors out there. I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? You're in a system that is not helping you to move towards your gifts, not helping you to activate your gifts, not teaching you the real life philosophies and real life practical advice of how you're gonna deal with yourself on the real world on the outside of school, right? Like a lot of times I look at these high schoolers, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a high school just right there down the street. And I see them when they finish school sometimes, and I'm like, wow, like the real world hasn't hit them yet. Right? If the world has hit them, because the real world hits some people younger than others, right? Some people have to grow up faster than others because their parents might be losing their minds, or there's so many different things and so many different variables of how it can go, right? These are the things that I've been thinking about in the shower. Now, to backtrack my idea of to backtrack the idea of what I've been talking about in the beginning, is I'm basically saying, I know I'm jumping all over the place. Try to work on furthering your skills in whatever field. And if you can pick 2 or 3 fields preferably, I know they say don't try to be a jack of all trades, but the things that you're good at, you can be good at that if you invest in furthering your skills in those areas. I promise you, I believe that there's enough time in the day for you to master 2 or 3 skills. There's enough time in the day for you to master 2 or 3 skills, right? Just think about it. Just think about it for a while, right? And the reason why I brought up the web is because I'm saying, okay, in terms of these 2 or 3 skills, what are the pathways that open up in between those skills? Like me being an analyst, that opens up 3 more doorways of potential, right? I can become a data analyst, I can become a financial analyst, I can become a cybersecurity analyst. If I'm a driver, that opens up 2 or 3 doors. What can I do? I could be a contractor driver, right? I can be an owner operator. This is the highest field of driving in my opinion, right? I can become some kind of driver for some company, fire truck, DZ truck, dump truck, right? The possibilities of what you could do is endless for all you people out there, because I see a lot of people doing Lyft and Uber. And I took a Lyft ride the other day, and Lyft paid the guy $1. I'm not even kidding you, for the ride, even though it was a short distance, but he got paid $1 for the distance on a $7 ride, which means they took 90% of the profit and only left him with 10%. All right. Where else does it lead me? If I'm a driver, where else does it lead me? It leads me to identify the problems in my field, right? Identify the problems in my field and work to create a solution or a business around those problems, and me solving those problems for the people that are affected by those problems equals big compensation later. This is how business works, right? There was no electric cars. Elon Musk went out of his way and made electric cars even when everybody said he was crazy. Now we see all his Teslas driving out on the street right there. That is living proof and definition that if you have ideas and dreams and goals, or if you have a certain interest in a certain category, all it is for you to do is to invest into further your skills in that area. Don't follow the quote of people die by 25, but they're not buried until 70. Now I'm gonna leave you guys with this so I can finish my porridge here because I just got so caught up in talking to you guys. What I want to say is, before I lose my train of thought, I'm losing my train of thought. That's bittersweet. What I'm gonna leave you with is the concept of getting older, right? The older you get, this is what this quote means, bro. The older you get, the less likely you are to take risk, which means your rate of growth. I'm not talking about physical growth. Physical growth, everybody's gonna go through that. That's a natural process of nature, right? Like I said, there's people that are in mindset of a 15-year-old and they're 50, 60, 70 because they stopped growing so long ago, right? This is what this quote means. The older you get, right? Your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, you're gonna be less and less more receptive to take risks. What does that mean? That indirectly correlates to you're gonna be less and less capable of achieving success. The average person, anyway, I'm not talking about everybody, right? So you have to essentially be doing some stretching, some mental stretching. You have to be getting out of your comfort zone constantly. You have to be seeking growth constantly. This is why I keep preaching skills, bro. Working on your skills, taking the money that you get and investing in the skills that are gonna make your freaking business better. And see, in this area, what I'm identifying spiritually right now is a lot of people have a problem with actual success. A lot of people are afraid of their own potential. A lot of people are afraid of getting the results that they want so bad. The fear of it, the fear of becoming greater is a real thing, bro. It is possible to self-sabotage yourself by being afraid of your own growth, bro. I've been there before, bro. When I realized that I was marking the charts years and years back, and when I realized that I had the potential to make $1 million in a week because I had guys that were around me doing it, right? I didn't just magically think of the number like, oh, make $1 million in a week. Bro, I watched a guy make $3.7 million in 4 days and disappear. When I realized that I had the exact same potential in me, that scared the shit out of me. I'm not even gonna lie. That was years and years back. Feel me? When I realized that I still have that same potential inside of myself, but the only difference between the version of myself then and my version of myself now is that I stuck to the narrative, the BS inside of my mind. A lot of people have BS inside of their brain, but this BS is a different type of BS that I'm talking about. I stuck to the belief system inside of my mind that I have to condition myself. I have to recondition my mind to deserve these things. I have to rewire my way of thinking because society programmed me to fail all these years. School programmed you to fail all these years. School programmed you to be afraid of failure all these years, which is why you keep losing, because if you weren't so afraid of failure, you would fail your way into success, right? You would do things, you would test it, you would come back to the drawing board. You would do things, you would test it, you would come back to the drawing board. But what most people do is they do things, they test it, it doesn't work, they shut it down. What I'm leaving you with, and make sure you smash that subscribe button here at J-Man the Plug. Wealth is a mindset. Being rich is a mindset. Once you have the mindset, it's only a matter of time before you achieve that. Like, I have friends around me, they always say, I'm trying to get rich like you. And I always say to them, wealth is a mindset. And I don't know if they'll ever take it in until they really take it in. Like, you know, he was right. Because the money don't mean nothing. You can have all the money and still be poor. You're poor on time, you're poor on family values, you're poor on real morals and good standards. You live a reckless lifestyle. Look at what happens. I've seen it all the way up to 30 million. Like, these people, they fall, they crash, and they don't end up going back up. They end up ruining their lives, ruining themselves, ruining their souls, their hearts, their minds. The money is just a very, I'm not gonna say small, but it's a very decent part of it. All the other faculties that make you up as a whole person, as an individual whole person, as a creator, and not the product. That's what I want to talk to you about today. Isn't it so crazy that these are the ideas that I get when I'm getting ready or when I'm taking a shower? I'm telling you guys, the most craziest ideas I get in my life come to me when I'm in the shower, bro, and I always run out to try to record it. You know what I'm saying? Before I do anything. You know what I'm saying? Before I finish anything that I'm doing, I say, you know what, make this video. This video could probably change a lot of people's lives. It will definitely change your life. I've made videos on myself in the past and watched those videos and said, who is this guy? Wow, I've changed so much, or I've gone through so much that I don't even remember who this person is. Right? And that's another thing that happens as you get older. Like, as you get older, you don't factor in all these things that you're gonna go through mentally by itself. That will probably throw you off your path. Things are gonna happen that are gonna throw you off your freaking path. And if you come back to a video like this, I'm just reminding you, right? I'm just reminding you of the things that you need to be doing, the things that you need to be aware of growing up. Because I wish somebody told me all these things when I was growing up. They didn't. I had to learn the hard way, right? Anyway, that's my time here with you guys today. Jim and the Plug, Wealth is Mindset, stay progressive. Until the next quick daily vlog, that's what I'm gonna call these. Stay well. And remember what I said, invest in furthering your skill sets, bro. I don't know what you do, what y'all do. Everybody's in a different area. Think of ways that you can provide a product or a service to the world that is beyond your 9 to 5, bro. Think of a way where you can have multiple streams of income. You can't rely on one stream of income, bro. I'm telling you, you're setting yourself up for failure, relying on one stream of income. In a world where you can make 2 or 3, in a world where you can have an online business, in a world where you can sell digital products, in a world where you can sell service. And if you sell a service, you can replace your job, right? Because if you provide that service to 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 people, if you can automate that service and provide it, boom, 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 you just replaced your income, right? Think about these things. Think about these things. Whatever it is that you're doing, think about furthering your skills and getting into a sustainable field around whatever it is that you're doing, bro. Think about it. Just think about it. Till the next video. Peace out.